Okay, tonight helping us with the pledge, Jonah Wade, Leella Kate, Miona Shea, and Josiah Kale Drapers. These are the Drapers.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job.
Great job.
Come inside if you want to take a name.
Yes, come on in. It's Charitable.
Good job, there's our family.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Drapers. All of them. Okay, next on the agenda is, I would like to say, it is so wonderful to see all the smiling faces out there tonight. Some new, some old. Talk about good times we've had. But we do appreciate you being here tonight, taking your time out to spend with us and help us make the right decisions for our children. Again, thank you. We appreciate it. Yes. Mr. Stepp, First Kids Award.
All right, so Kids First Award, we're going to start off with Pepe Perron. Come on up.
Oh, Mr. Oh, now what happened? Where's Pepe?
I guess we'll push it to next month.
Oh, Pepe's
So we do have another Kids First Award tonight. And this goes to Heather Molinax. As you know, she's going on a new adventure, and she's been wonderful to our kids in Cumberland County, done some amazing stories, did a lot of great things for Cumberland County schools. So we can't thank you enough. It reads Kids First Award, awarded to Heather Molinax for exceptional, selfless service to the kids of Cumberland County schools. Thank you for your continued support and love for our kiddos. This is all from the board. I'll set something down. This is all from these guys.
So welcome.
Best wishes.
So proud of you.
You will be missed.
And I'd like to also, on behalf of the Cumberland County Schools, thank each one of you for your service with the school board. We can't thank you enough for stepping up and being willing to make Cumberland County Schools the best we can. So thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Lovely. Many of you in the audience, I think some of us up here, know how valuable Heather Molinax has been to our school district. She has been here through thick and thin, and she has reported fairly. And she's such a wonderful person, and we will miss you.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll miss the schools, and I'll miss all of you, just not your meeting.
I say she was terribly honest. Thank you, Heather, and best wishes on your adventure. Yes. Next is our special recognition for our student board representatives. I can't see, so I'm going just to announce Owen Brown. Here. Whitehair. And Nicole Ranson. Okay, next on the agenda is the Charitable Fund.
So a big thank you to Dr. Wood, who is instrumental in all creating this whole Charitable Fund thing. It's amazing, does wonderful things. We have forms for you to fill out if you'd like to go ahead and donate to that. We encourage everyone to get in to support the kids. But this is amazing, Dr. Wood, and thank you so much.
Yes.
In the mic for a moment. for those of you who know me, you know I'm not afraid at all of getting in front of a microphone. So I need everybody who's out in the hall to hear this, which is why I came to the microphone, because I am posing a challenge to everyone who receives a check tonight. So I'm not sure everyone realizes how the charitable fund works. It's an endowment. So whenever you make a donation, that donation actually lasts forever, because the money that is distributed every twice a year, so every time that we distribute, it comes from the interest that is made on the donations. So when you donate, it lasts forever. So there needs to be more donations so we can give away more money. So I'm issuing a challenge to, if you get a check tonight, I want you to take this flyer that explains the charitable foundation and give it to somebody so they can make a donation.
Right.
Everybody gonna do that? So I needed the mic so everybody actually hears that. Okay, so that's your challenge. And everybody that's in here that needs a tax write-off or something, like your 403B donation, right here. Because it goes into every classroom, in every school, in this district, and nowhere else.
Right.
Okay? All right, so I need everybody to know that.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, thank you.
You're very shy.
It's never been shy.
So we will call these by schools. We do ask that once you receive your check that you kind of slide over to the side and stay so we can get a picture of everyone at the end. From Brown Elementary, Hannah Van Winkle, the Book Club. Erin Marcy, music class. Miranda Sims, Science and Social Studies, 5th grade. Cindy Kimmer, FFA.
If we go this way, we're going to...
Paula Bailey, Chess Club. Elizabeth McDonald, Visual Art and Art Club. Crab Orchard Elementary, Erin Jackson and Brianna Curley, 8th grade. Jessica Marcy, band, choir, and general music. April Shelton and Pam Graves, Junior Beta Club. Homestead Elementary, Jennifer Lawrence, 7th and 8th grade science class. Darlene Wallace, B3 Fitness. Rebecca Wood, RTI. Kelsey Eller, ESL. Martin Elementary, Brandon Fletcher Band. Nicole Graham, 8th grade math. Stephanie Brown, math competition. Chelsea Baxter, PE. North Cumberland Elementary, Chastity Turner, 6th and 7th grade math. Misty Goss, PE. Ashton Hayes, FFA. And Julia Timpson, Beta Club. STEAM Club, I'm sorry. STEAM Club. Pleasant Hill Elementary, Kim Nelson, 4th grade science fair. Kim Nelson also received for the chess club. And Samantha Essex, FFA. South Cumberland Elementary, Jamie White, RTI. Andy Casey and Stacy Dyke, Student Council. Mario Laborde, Band. Leanne Burgess, Lego League. Stone Elementary, Sherry Sather, ESL. Beth Troyer, 5th grade science. Shannon Brown, art. And Kristen Lopez, band. Phoenix, George Kington, Transition Academy. Phoenix, Sherry Smith, Prom Committee and Media Center. Should we start a second
Yeah,
line?
y'all act like you like each other. Like you know a camera ain't gonna get all y'all in here, so you gotta move up.
CCHS, Jeff Wright for the Jet News Network. And Daniel Rickman, photography.
I know y'all are good.
Bruce Johnson, band. Becky Atkinson and Gretchen Donnell, reader volunteer.
Congratulations.
Daisy Filler and Caitlin Hobbs, varsity cheer. Daisy Filler, beta. Lindsay Aiken, vocal music theater. Angela Robbins, Jet Theatrics and Theater 2 class. Cub Whitson, soccer. And Cub Whitson boys soccer.
Yes.
Stuart Bowen, middle school track and field. Randy Herring, middle school boys and girls golf. Alicia Gibbons, middle school volleyball. SMHS, Rachel Martin, English department. Ethan Tipton, marching band. Tristissa Lukemeyer, art club. Anna Bryant and Carol Smith, beta club. Chelsea Phillips and Chrissy Hedrick, food pantry. Carol Smith, FBLA. Brittany Bilbrey and Peggy Potter, craft club.
All right, how we doing this?
Come get in the picture.
Everyone needs to get a little closer. We're gonna need some folks, maybe
Layers and levels.
layers.
There you go. Come on, you gotta get the picture.
Get right here in the middle.
Yes, absolutely.
Are we layers? I think we're layers. Bevel.
I'll go to this.
Dance recital.
Go get the guys. There you go.
1, 2, 3. Okay, look here. Thank you.
Thank you.
How are you? So good to see you.
Next on the agenda will be the roll call. Ms. Stoll? Here. Ms. Nichols? Here. Ms. Hale? Here. Mr. Safdie?
Here.
Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Ms. Hamby? Here. Ms. Stout? Here. And Ms. Boston is present. Mr. Patton, would you please do our contract?
Yes, ma'am. Board members, Tennessee Code annotated Title 49, Chapter 2, Section 202 defines a relative as a spouse, parent-in-law, child, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, grandchild, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, nephew, niece, or any person that resides in your same household. Each of you that have such a relative as defined by statute, please raise your right hand and let the record reflect Ms. Boston and Mr. King have such relatives. Do each of you certify that the votes that you make tonight will be in the best interest of the Cumberland County school system, regardless of the effect that your vote may have on the employment of your relatives?
I do.
Let the record reflect so affirmed.
Next on the agenda is the approval of December the 7th BOE minutes.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. I need a second.
Second.
So we have a first and a second to approve the BOE minutes for December the 7th. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Moving on, we have the approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Second.
Second.
Okay, so we have a first and second to approve the agenda. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Agenda has been approved. Acknowledgement of the elected officials. I don't know. Help me out here, folks. Do we have any elected officials in the audience tonight? I don't think we do. Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is the community comments. We have two that have signed up. If you would, please take the podium, the microphone, state your name, your address, and I think the first is Mr. Goddard, and the subject on which you're speaking.
No, I didn't bring homework, so. Good evening, everyone. My name is Christopher Goddard, and I reside at 103 Phyllis Street, Crossville, Tennessee. And I'm here tonight to discuss security concerns and funding issues. I want to discuss the security breach at Martin Elementary School on January the 11th, 2024. Parents and community members deserve to know what actually happened that day. Is there an actual statement on hand from the Board of Education or administrators at Martin Elementary? There's been articles in the Crossville Chronicle dated January 22nd concerning this, but nothing before or in between those incidents happened. I don't need to remind anyone of what happened when a door was popped open in Texas. How will the Board of Education and Cumberland County Schools ensure that nothing like this will ever happen again? Also with that, there's the notification system to parents. Currently, parents receive automated phone calls and messages from their child's zone school and not the school they attend. Martin houses comprehensive developmental classrooms for several students, of which are not zoned for Martin Elementary. Their parents were not notified from Martin of the event. They were forced to gather details from friends and the media. Please keep in mind that many of the children that require CDC services may not be able to verbalize what happened during their days. Just imagine how terrifying it would be for an intruder to be in your child's school, yet you receive no notification and learn about it from Facebook. This system needs to reflect where the child actually attends school at, not where they're zoned. I ask now, what are the Board of Education's next steps for addressing security issues at our schools concerning doors, points of entry, increased security for events such as picture days, and what are the protocols or ramifications whenever protocols and policies are not followed? And I've brought policies for everybody. I'll pass around in a minute when I'm done. Additionally, tonight, I would like to discuss the board's position on school vouchers and rejecting federal funding. BOE policy 1.105 states, the board will work for the passage of new laws designed to improve public education in Tennessee. Likewise, the board will work for the repeal of modification of existing laws and the defeat of proposed laws that impede that cause. The board shall stay informed of pending legislation, actively communicate its concerns, and make its positions known to the elected representatives at both the state and national levels. What is the Board of Education's position on school vouchers and rejecting federal funding? Has this position been made known to the public and the representatives? The board must stand against vouchers per policy and must determine their stance to relay the information to legislative liaisons to take to Nashville. And I close with one more policy. BOE policy 1.2021 states,
Mr. Goddard, are you almost finished?
yeah, this is last sentence.
Okay, thank you.
I will represent at all times the entire school community and refuse to represent special interest or partisan politics. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Goddard.
I'll just pass them around. There's enough for everybody all the way down to Mr. Patton.
Ms. Boston. They're all one group. That's the entire group.
No, they're all separate. I think they're all separate.
is here.
Okay. She just walked in?
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Small, welcome to our board meeting.
I'm sorry, I was like, no, okay, thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda, or next is Ms. Julia Timpson.
My name is Julia Timpson. I live at 6960 South York Highway, Clark Range, Tennessee, 38553, but I reside most of the time, except for the last 10 days, at North Cumberland Elementary. I do want to say that I have a colleague that's here. She actually teaches in Putnam County. She did not know she had to sign up to do community comments, but she's a parent, and she would like to speak. So I'm just telling you that now, because she didn't know she had to sign up outside. And I just met her. I didn't even get her name, but I know she teaches at Jerry Whitson. I know she teaches music. That's all I know. This week, it's really scary when I get too many snow days in a row because I get kind of bored. And I was thinking about teachers, and I have a couple of colleagues that are leaving our system, going to another district. And I thought, wonder what makes people want to leave. And so I sent out a question on Facebook, and somebody that I very much respect and admire, she sent me a text message and she said, you know what, I'd really like to know what everybody thinks about that. Can you send me that when you get finished? And I thought, well, to do that, I have to send it to everybody. So I sent it yesterday. So far, I've gotten about 80 responses, and I just wanted to share a couple of those. Believe it or not, out of the 80, 47 people mentioned pay as the number one reason they want to leave their district or their school. 44 said behavior issues. 39 said lack of support. 22 said too many extra duties that have nothing to do with teaching. 22 said stress. 20 said lack of autonomy and creativity. They hate the scripted curriculum. 15 said too much testing. 11 said burnout, and 10 said too much micromanagement. A couple of quotes that I saw: loss of freedom. I like having a curriculum, but I would like to be able to make changes every now and then that better fit my specific students without having to worry about getting in trouble for not following the script. Extra responsibilities like IEP meetings, paperwork, going to the same curriculum training during planning multiple times. These things aren't necessarily hard, but they add up and they result in us taking extra work home. And of course, extreme behaviors from students. This other person said the profession has changed. Students do not want to learn like they did in the past. In the past 3 years, the attendance policies and the grading scale policies have severely hindered the educational process. With the current attendance policy at the high school, students can miss and make up any work with the 9-week grading period. This places a tremendous amount of stress on the teacher to get work graded and return to the students to prepare for the 9-week exams. The students do not care about what grade they make. They merely want to Google the answers, so why would I kill myself trying to teach them? The same content, what they're requiring is that if you teach the same grade level, if you teach second grade, when you leave my classroom and walk into the next, we're supposed to be finishing each other's sentences. Well, we know in the real world that that's not the way it works, but that's what the state says
is supposed to happen, and that's kind of crazy. We're also, sorry?
Your time is up.
Are you
Anybody
so
make a
sad?
motion to extend it?
I'll make a motion to extend.
Okay.
You have 30 seconds.
Thank you. They're also receiving emails about letting them know that the central office is watching them. We're professionals. Please treat us like professionals. The other thing is the countywide dress code, the teacher dress code. What I'm wearing today, I cannot wear to teach. This is a sport. This is a t-shirt. In our current teacher dress code, I can't wear a t-shirt and I can't wear a sport. Do I look appropriate to dress to teach school? I think so.
Time is
So
up.
I'd like for you to look at that, please. Thank you very much. And this lady, can she speak?
I think, is it?
We said that they would fill out a form before the meeting. Present it to
She's from out of county and does not know our.
I would, it's not on here, but can we make a motion to waive the procedure and allow this person to make a presentation for 3 minutes?
Is that a motion?
That's the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. The motion on the floor is to waive the procedures that require a speaker to present their name and topic prior to the meeting and present it to the chairperson.
Can y'all speak into the mics? We can't hear a word you say.
We have a motion on the floor to waive the procedure for community comments. This young lady drove from out of county. She is a parent and was not aware of the procedure that we had a sign-up sheet outside. There is a motion on the floor to allow her to speak. I seconded that motion. Any discussion?
This would be just for tonight?
Just for tonight.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. You may.
My name is Hannah Bratton. I live in Putnam County at 158 East 16th Street, apartment A4, 38501. And I would like to discuss what happened on January 11th at Martin Elementary. Do I begin? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And let me just remind you, you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
I'm a public school music educator at a Middle Tennessee school district. I'm here because I am the aunt of 3 beautiful children who attend Cumberland County Schools. One of my nieces is a student at Glen Martin. On January 11th, an intruder entered my niece's school through an unlocked gym door. At no point has my family received any communication from Cumberland County Schools about the incident, despite being equal stakeholders in the safety of our children. Most of our information has come from a police report, a news article, and several Facebook posts. It's been difficult to discern the truth from speculation. Despite the failings, one fact remains clear: there was an unlocked exterior door at my niece's school. As an educator, I am particularly aware of the realities and dangers my job brings. One of the dangers is an intruder. There's a possibility, similar to Uvalde or Covenant School, that I may die shielding my students from a bullet. Because of this looming danger, I take extra precautions to protect the lives of my 300 students. I never leave a window open. I always lock the door. Every door, all doors remain locked. Most importantly, I practice drills to keep my kids safe. As a teacher and an aunt, I'm angry that my niece could have been subject to violence because of a simple mistake. I know what it's like being a teacher. I understand the fatigue. But what I don't understand is how a simple mistake could cost us so many lives. It's just too much at stake. Additionally, Tennessee House Bill number 322, section 496-817 states that all exterior doors leading into a school building should remain locked at all times, while access should be limited to the school's primary entrance. If law enforcement finds an unlocked exterior door, it must be communicated within 24 hours to the director of schools, chair of the local board of education, head of the PTO, school principal, Department of Safety, Department of Education, and local law enforcement. If a school is found to have consistently violated the law, the commissioner may withhold funds from the school. At no point was a hard lockdown initiated for Glen Martin. That much is evident through my niece's account. That also suggests that there's no direct form of communication amongst faculty, administrators, and police during times of crisis. Furthermore, there was absolutely no clear and consistent communication to the public about what happened and how the school will prevent it from happening again. Because of the lack of communication, transparency, and preparedness, I've compiled a list of suggestions that we could use to strengthen the safety at my niece's school.
15 seconds.
The first is ALICE training for all Cumberland County School District employees. Second, clear communication like Navigate Prepared. Third, security cameras, institutional mirrors, privacy window film. Fourth, all doors locked. Fifth, announced, unannounced intruder drills. And sixth, communication with everybody involved.
Time.
Thank you. Would you please state your name again?
Hannah Bratton, Bratton.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Hey, thank you for all the community comments. Next on the agenda is the school board reports, the TLN report. Ms. Stout?
All right, thank you. The second legislative session of the 113th General Assembly kicked off on Tuesday, January 9th. The legislature did not meet the week of January 15th due to weather conditions, resulting in this week being the first full week of committee and subcommittee meetings. There is a bill that could affect policy in our district that made it through the K-12 subcommittee this week, and it's House Bill 1630, Senate Bill 1711, and it mandates that all state universities and K-12 public and charter schools adopt a policy for the use of AI by students, teachers, and staff for instructional and assignment purposes. They also introduced an amendment to the bill that added clarifying language to the definition of artificial intelligence, which is defined in the bill as computer software that is designed to simulate human intelligence through machine learning and to perform tasks that would normally require human involvement. So now the bill is moving on to the House Education Administration Committee, but they haven't put it on their calendar as of yet. So that's one of the education ones that made it through this week. We're not yet to the final filing dates for bills, so they still have until the 31st for the House and the 1st for the Senate, so I'm sure there's going to be some more bills flowing in before those dates. I also wanted to bring you up to speed on the Federal Education Funding Joint Working Group. The Senate put out their report and recommendations. They released it on January 9th. The report includes information on federal funding received, laws and requirements associated with federal funds, how to eliminate unwanted restrictions, options for consideration, and further questions and considerations. The report, they said, is preliminary pending further discussions. At the time of their report release, the House and Senate had not agreed to mutual recommendations. They're still waiting on the House report. They haven't given a date on when that might come out, so it's forthcoming. Based on the Senate report and the current status of the Joint Working Group, it's really apparent that the process is still in its early stages, and they don't seem to be looking to rush through it. There's a lot of good information in that report, and I've downloaded a copy of it, so if any of you are interested in getting that, just let me know, and I'm happy to email it to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Board members, any report from trainings? No one could get to them. Thank you. Mr. Patton, our legal report.
Yeah, there are three matters of pending litigation currently with the board. The Kirkman case, which involves a student that fell on some bleachers out at Pleasant Hill. My understanding in that matter is that the plaintiff's counsel in that case is withdrawing. They filed a motion to withdraw from the case. Now, what that means to the litigation and how it develops from here remains to be seen. But I'll probably have a little more update for you on that next month. You've got the Jewel litigation. I don't know, Mr. Stepp, have you received any further communication from the France firm? I was
Since
expecting you
signed
probably
that
would have.
contract. I signed the contract, sent it back, you said
Right.
it was good to go, so that's all I.
And that's, I do expect that we'll receive some more news on that before the next board meeting, so hopefully we'll have a better update there. And the other matter is fairly new to us, which is the social media lawsuit. And again, we're still kind of in the preliminary stages there. I think they'll be reaching out to central office for some information here soon, I'm sure. So I'll have more to tell you next month.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The next on the agenda is the director's report, Mr. Stepp.
Absolutely. Start out with some good stuff going on. So first of all, I want to say thank you to our maintenance department and all of our custodians for all that they did during the last 10 days. They kept the schools running, kept everything safe and clean. Shout out to school nutrition and coordinated school health for their sweet potato raised beds at North Cumberland. The kids loved that and did a great job. Transportation. Again, they worked through all 10 days of this. The mechanics for their hard work, dedication, willingness to help with covering bus routes. So we're short 13 routes, as everyone knows. Administrative assistants always go above and beyond. The drivers and their willingness to help out. Amazing group of employees. They raised $1,000 for the Lighthouse Christian Camp through transportation, so that was awesome. In special education, teachers and staff are working tremendously hard to meet the needs of every student.
Whatever, and then they'll go home and do a just stepping around.
So, shout out to SMHS, Ms. Vergopoulos and her theater students. THESCON 2024. Now for the amazing news, all the students receive mini college callbacks per person, so that's a conference for theater students. And Western Kentucky, MTSU, UTC, Center College, and others offering our students opportunities at their universities. Out of approximately 300 students, 2 of our students received top 3 recognition and performed at closing ceremony. That was Luke Smith and James Ramsey. That is 2 out of 3 recognized were from SMHS. Then a $1,000 scholarship was announced, and the winner is Luke Smith. And in February, Luke, James, and Bailey Gunner will head to the conference to perform and work with professionals as All-State and All-East regional winners, along with Peyton Lee as an All-State and All-East alternate. Zola Breeler is now talking to universities based on her auditions. Sophomore Alyssa Johnson, who prepared herself for next year by going through the process this year, and she's ready to go for colleges. And they're just generally proud of all the SMHS theater things. I got tons of pictures I have to share online with everyone. For CTE, Dr. Eldridge and all of her people, competitive TVA grants received at Pineview for STEM, North for agriculture, and CCHS for culinary. Congratulations, guys, for winning those grants. The Epic bus was sent off today, and it will be returned to us as a career mobile lab for our students. Martin Elementary STEM students won first place in the presentation section during the robotics competition on Saturday in Knoxville. What am I missing there? Writing process on the steps to making gingerbread houses. So that was the ESL students from the WIDA assessment, language proficiency skills. So they worked through several projects, food from recipes. They used their cookbooks and did all those great things. So that was pretty awesome. And then through our Tennessee All-Core grant, we were able to purchase new hands-on learning materials that will target skills such as reading comprehension, main idea, test-taking strategies. Each school will receive approximately $1,000 in materials along with the implementation training. Through our LIN grant from the state, we were able to purchase $12,000 worth of CKLA curriculum for the ESL teachers. Also, through our LIN grant, we will be purchasing big books for all K2 classrooms. These big books are used to enhance our curriculum delivery and engage our students, learners in the reading process, and that's about a $10,000 value, so that's pretty awesome. And then also, last but not least, the SMHS Chick-fil-A leadership students, in connection obviously with Derek Alkin and Chick-fil-A, they got donated book sets for us to give out to our students on the book bus this summer. So thank you, Shannon O'Neill, and their club sponsors. She's the library media specialist. These are the book packets, so up to 150 children will get these. And then the students that were in that process wrote quotes out for the students when they get these, so it's pretty neat project, so great job there. And the only thing I have for you guys to vote on is for CCTE, HES grants for growing. They want to apply for that. So that's something I
Madam
want to
Chair.
ask your permission to go ahead and do.
Move to approve.
Second.
15A.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the HES grants for growing CCTE, and we have a second. Any discussion? In favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion granted.
So all I have left are the regular monthly reports, newsletters, and calendars. Do y'all have any questions on any of those items?
Congratulations, you moved through that one very smoothly.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is school board committees. Ms. Hamby, Policy Committee.
I was not able to be here for the committee meetings this month due to illness. So I'm going to allow Ms. Elizabeth to go ahead and report on this because she did take care of the policy committee, and I appreciate that very much.
All right, thank you. We did our meeting, what day was it? The 9th or the 7th?
It's the 9th.
And we went ahead and passed all 4 of the policies in committee for board approval.
Was there one that had question?
There was the use of personal communication devices. There's not an actual cross-reference to be had. And that was the only thing that we had asked to go ahead and have put on that one.
The TSBA didn't provide one, and most of the other counties didn't. That falls on local, so we also, I believe, attached a procedure to it so you could see what the principals want to use for procedurally. So that would be the procedure to this policy.
So I know at one point the procedures were a little bit outdated compared to the policy.
These are the ones the principals like. We polled all the principals, and they preferred this.
Okay.
Well, and it was revised July the 18th of '23.
Okay.
So are you going to go ahead and reference the procedure at the bottom of the policy so the parents know where to go to see the details?
We could. We don't do that on any of the others, but
Well,
if we want to do it special for this one, we can.
What everyone needs to know is the procedure manual is public. It is on our website. So is the policy manual. So in most policies that needs procedures, they're there and they're easy to find. So I don't know that we need to cross-reference, like you said. Most of our others do not have a cross-reference on it. If it has procedures, the procedures are going to be in the book. So.
Well, I appreciate your input. Like I differ just a little bit, okay, and with respect. If we provided a page number for the procedures in their procedure manual, that would assume that the procedure manual has page numbers, and it would also assume that there are hundreds of policies, so that if we decided to cross-reference for parents, it would be a long-term project where policies could be referenced or cross-referenced to procedures over a year, 2, 3 year period of time. So.
And I understand that and respect that. If we're going to do that with one policy, we need to do that with several of that they are cross-referenced into the procedure manual, right?
Well, we could begin the process. It doesn't mean that we have to do all of them at one time, but I know going through the procedure, going through the policies, that sometimes I would like a reference, and that's kind of kind of an issue that we can bring up and discuss some more in the future, okay?
Yes, and I agree with that. I agree that it would be nice to know that there is a procedure to go along with that policy. So yes, I agree.
And then it puts it without being obtrusive or obtrusive, it would put pressure on the director of schools to make sure that there's a procedure for each of the policies. And that's a long, when you come in new, you don't know what has been previously written by other directors. So that would put more pressure on you. You don't need any more pressure, but.
I'm good. So the way it's set up currently, just for parents that want to reference procedures, when you go into the actual policy link, you go to other helpful links, and there's a line, the very first line says the Cumberland County procedures. When you click on that, then it shows you 6 different folders. So you got the board operations folder, you can click on that and go to the policy number, and it goes to that. So it's set up that way, not by exact page numbers. So like for this one, you click on the folder number 6 that says students, and you'd scroll down until you got to 6.312. And then those procedures are there. So that's the current way to get to it electronically. TSBA houses all this.
Off topic, or on topic, what happens if the student decides that they don't want to give their communication device?
They stay up into the office, and the principals will call the parents. We go. I always turn to the parents. I have your child here. They're not going to give up their device. Please come up.
Should this say that?
It's in the procedures.
I was just gonna say, so that would be written in the procedure, or how do we handle it?
Or should be in the procedure.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Should it say that in there?
It says, in the first offense, device will be taken and held for the parent or guardian to pick up and documented warning.
But if they decide they don't want to give the device up?
Then they're going to be sitting there until the parent shows up and we'll hand it to the parent.
We can get detailed like that. Yep.
There's no.
Well, and that's in the procedures, and Mr. Stepp is in charge of writing the procedures.
Yep.
So that is something he can take care of without altering or amending the policy.
Yes.
I'm just.
Thank you for the advice. That's good.
Good.
Do we have a motion on the floor?
It came out of policy, so I'm going to make a motion that we approve these since there was
These were the first readings, is that correct? These-
first reading.
First readings.
I have a question. We shouldn't be approving the administrative procedures.
We're
So
not.
We should strike that from the record.
We're not.
Thank you. No, we're just the policies.
The procedures were attached just so that the board was aware that these were the procedures. It was for information purposes only.
So this is for policy 2.200, 4.700, 6.312, and it came out of policy committee. I made a motion that we approve, and if there's any discussion.
Thank you.
Did everyone read the policy with the use of personal communication devices, and they were happy with the?
There was one portion that I had thought would be good to go ahead and keep in, but it was lines 16 and 17 I thought was good to go ahead and keep in there. At no time will any student utilize a personal communication device in an attempt to undermine instructional practice or violate an individual's privacy.
I agree. I like that in there. Our first policy was good.
This is the model TSB policy that we recommended.
Yeah, this came from TSBA as a, but we do not have to follow exact as long as we're not breaking the law. I have no problem with amending my motion and adding line 16 and 17 back to this policy. So I will change my motion that we approve on first reading 2.200, 4.700, and 6.312, with adding lines 16 and 17 back into 6.312.
If we're gonna look at adding the 16 and 17 back in, would they sit better after line 12? Instead of at the end where they are? Talk about that the principal or designee may also grant a student permission to use such a device at his or her discretion, and at no time will any student utilize a personal communication device in an attempt to undermine.
I like that.
Yes, yes.
And then we can
Move
summarize
16,
at the end.
17 up under line 12.
I'll second that.
Yeah. So what was that?
The motion is that we will approve on first reading, because this is going to come back anyway, but on first reading, policy 2.200, 4.700, and 6.312, with 6.312 adding back in lines 16 and 17, but moving it up under line 12. Okay, that was my motion. Ms. Stoll seconded.
Okay.
Any discussion?
It's up to you, take the vote.
I'm good with that.
Okay. Yeah, take the vote. If we're through, then all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so on first reading, we have approved the policies presented. The procedure was not approved. That was for your information only, based upon, Mr. Stepp is in charge of the procedures.
Yes.
Okay. Second on the agenda is Athletic Committee, Mr. Davis.
We have not met this year, so we are intending on meeting at the February 13th date to discuss a handful of items at that time, but really just want to, I guess, congratulate Martin and Homestead on their first ever trips to the sectionals in the TS or TMS AA tournaments that they're going to be representing our county in for the first time this weekend. So wish all of them the best of luck. Go Bulldogs, go Eagles. So that's all that I had there.
Okay, thank you. On the Budget Committee, we have not met. February the 13th is when our next scheduled policy group meetings are. Ms. Bray, how are we on the salary schedules?
I'm probably 98% there. I'll be
Cool.
ready.
That means we've got 2% to go, and we should be able to get rocking and rolling. Perfect. Okay. Next on the agenda is Ms. Stout had requested for discussion the May 24th Budget Committee minutes and the May 30th Budget Committee minutes.
No discussion, just so we can get them approved, since they've been pending since
Only on
May.
for discussion.
So-
Is there an attachment? Are these,
No. Were they attached? Yes, they were.
Yes, they are.
okay, so they are public record
They are
now?
public record now.
Okay, so they're gonna be posted out there like any other meeting notes for transparency?
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They are.
All right, is there any reason why we're not approving them though, like we
We
approved
haven't
the other
had a
meeting?
budget committee meeting, and just quite frankly, as general practice, that they are always approved at the next meeting. And as soon as Ms. Bray gets us, then we'll have a meeting and we can get those approved.
So we've had several opportunities with the budget committee members gathered together for these types of meetings and other meetings, and being that we're well past the recommended 30-day
I think we've had
timeframe.
many opportunities. I think the only opportunity we've had is for the January the 9th.
Well, that was committee, but we've been gathered as a board every month since May.
Understand. Is there any further discussion? Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on, Mr. Safety, Building and Grounds.
The the Building and Grounds Committee met, and we had no real business other than just general discussion. I think that we referred a bid to, we referred Mr. Stepp to look at some bidding process. Do you want to tell us what took place then?
Yeah, working right now on, with Mr. Chamberlain on bidding out the leak at Pineview. The roof, the temporary fix is temporary now. So once I get that together, I'll contact Ms. Boston and see which direction we go from there.
Okay, and he's referring to the roof leak.
Roof leak at Pineview.
Fixing the roof.
Now, what, were the alarms referred as well?
No,
CCHS alarm?
no. We didn't.
Okay,
We
just the bid.
We just had general discussion of the alarms and the cost of, potential cost of those alarms.
While we're on, I don't know if this is inappropriate, but I'm going to ask the question. On the tennis courts, which come out of Building and Grounds, or has been discussed, do we have an alternate place that these children can practice?
Big question.
Yes, the principals have been working on that. Dr. Callahan has an alternate place for CCHS. I think SMHS still has working courts there on campus.
So, see, SMHS is on campus. Dr. Callahan, you have, yes,
I'm on the tennis team at Stone, and we do have working courts. There's like one or two of them that have really bad cracks, but they're still able to play on for practice.
so you're still practicing?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you.
CCHS is working.
And CCHS is going,
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Perone has been gracious enough to allow us to practice at his facility.
who?
Mr. Perone.
Oh, wow. Pepe, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. That's quite a trip down there,
I
but
was just gonna say, that's a distance.
good court.
That's good court.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm sorry to kind of go off topic a minute, but I
No,
thought about that.
Actually, we have that as a general discussion item. No motion was made to do anything. I think I mentioned, do we have to have tennis courts to serve, have 8 courts in a tennis court? Can we reduce that in order to reduce the cost of the construction of them? So, but nothing was resolved, nothing was discussed.
All right, well, thank you.
They will be discussed in the budget process, though.
Yes, I think so.
Thank you, sir.
It's been lingering for a couple years
Don't
now.
miss that budget meeting.
I think we're not going to have a choice on that one. Ms. Bray, Chief Financial Officer's report, our monthly financial report.
Well, good evening once again. Basically, our revenue is kind of finally caught up a bit with our expenses, which is to be expected. Property taxes are coming in. We've gotten our TISA money. So, I mean, you get a monthly, and then we also got our outcome-based funding. So that has caused our revenue to exceed our expenses, which is always good. We're at about 44% on revenue, and I think 42% on expenses, which is very good this time of year. Now, granted, later on in the year, we'll have some expenditures that will roll in, which we already have planned for, but I still think that we're on par for where we need to be.
I have a question. You said we got our TISA funding in and then we got our allotment.
No, our outcome-based funding through too.
Which is what?
That's basically on the student outcomes. We're going to get that 3 times a year, and this was our first installment. Mr. Stepp can explain more how that is calculated.
How much was
Yes,
it?
$600,000.
So that's the sheet we got before.
Correct. That's one December 15th I emailed to you. That's based on our
Got it.
achievement and our college and career readiness data, all of those things lumped together. They didn't have all that calculated till December, as we know. So once they had it calculated, then the new formula they came up with in November, they multiply what our results were times what the formula says we get credit for, and that comes out to be the number.
So this was not included in our TISA.
This was not
Funding.
budgeted. So on our TISA estimate sheets, the outcome said TBD.
To be determined.
And they waited
So I
till-
did not know how to include that, and I was not gonna chance it.
You said that comes out 3 times a year for us?
3 times, we'll get it again early spring, but it will not be that significant.
Right.
So let's not get excited and think we're gonna get 600,000 each time. But there will be a payment early spring and then late spring. Now, what that means, that's up to them to determine. That was what I was told, early spring and late spring. But I don't anticipate that I don't anticipate there will be anything close to this because what they will be valuing or measuring will be different.
Okay, thank you.
And I always send, when I get those estimates, I send it that day to the whole board, so.
Well, that was kind of a surprise
Yeah,
amount of money.
we knew we were gonna get it, we just didn't know what.
You didn't know how much. And there's no way to predict that.
Not the first year because they hadn't created the formula for it till November, so.
That's why it was TBD.
Yeah, but my team did a great job on the appeals, get all that information in quick. It was a lot of information that we had to double check to make sure we get all that right money, so they did a great job.
And they had a very quick turnaround on that. They did an excellent job.
That's 601,000.
601,000.
1,000.
Is there any questions on that? And we'll move on to sales tax. Obviously, we're still behind what we had budgeted, but the good news is we're still ahead of prior year by $185,000. So it doesn't look as bad as what it looks when you look at the bottom line, but hopefully, when we get the December in, we will see some improvements in February. But we're still running right at $200,000 behind what had been originally projected. Is there any questions there? We'll move on to the budget amendments. The only general budget amendment we have is basically to record the funds that we received from the TVA grant. I think Mr. Stepp has already covered that. We had STEM, we had a ag, and then we had culinary. Culinary was at CCHS, STEM was at Pineview, and North got the ag.
Do we want to entertain a motion to incorporate all of the
That was the only
resolutions?
general fund. If you want to do them all at one time, we can do that too.
Federal, is there any,
They're both reallocations.
and what's a reallocation?
Basically, they're just reallocating the funds they already had to different expense lines so that they can be better utilized.
On the federal money,
That's for a sped bus, the 140,000, correct?
That's for a step bus?
Sped bus, yeah.
Sped bus. Okay, that's what
Which we desperately
I was
need.
gonna ask that too.
But we won't get it for another year, so we got to start early.
I understand.
Long lead time.
Okay.
The next one is just travel to teacher line. There again, that's a reallocation, something she feels like she needs.
That's CTE.
The next one is the CTE Perkins revision. Moving a little out of in-service into contracted services.
Okay.
And then same thing with the Perkins Reserve Consolidated. Vocational equipment is an increase, decreasing some supplies and materials and contracted services.
So that's equipment that we can go without, we don't need,
No, this is where we're going to increase that. We're going to buy some additional equipment.
Okay.
Basically, she's just reallocating some of her money
From the
somewhere
others.
else.
Okay.
But this is existing funds we've already allocated. We're just moving it around a little bit. And then the next one would be Ms. Hamby's, and this is basically new funds that she's received. And we're putting them in her budget.
Go Ms. Hamby.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
move to approve 17C, D, and E together.
Okay. I'll second that. So we have a motion on the floor to approve budget amendments, 142 budget amendments. Let's see, what's the first one?
141 and
143.
143.
There's a first and second on the floor. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, so we have a first and second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? No discussion? Then all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The consent agenda has been approved.
Looks like the students have a lot of good activities forthcoming this semester to look forward to.
There, I will note, we made an executive approval for the wrestling team overnight because that was during a time when school was not in session and they needed approval. So Mr. Stepp and I approved that in the executive committee. Old business?
Just one thing. I would like to thank all the schools for the wonderful reception they've given us, the Board of Education, and the appreciation that they've shown us on this board meeting. Every board member received so many letters and notes and chocolate
And cookies.
and cookies. And I just want to say that I am terribly appreciative of that, and thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do appreciate what you do. And I know it's difficult, especially since we've just went through the holidays and then the ice storm. But I know this board member certainly appreciates it, and thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Madam Chair, I had old business I wanted to ask about.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask about when are we going to have the meeting for the MOU, the collaboration with the teachers? I'm on that committee and I've not been informed when we're going to have a meeting with the teachers and go over the memorandum of understanding and.
Yeah, we had the initial meeting, and then Miss Bray and Miss Timpson, I believe, are communicating to set that time up.
We're supposed to get back.
When
When
When does
I
that
was not
start?
informed. If I'm on that committee, are you going to inform all the members about different meetings?
Once Miss Bray and Miss Timpson work out those dates, that goes out from Miss Timpson and Miss Bray to all the members on both groups. So as soon as they work out those dates, everyone that's involved will get it from both of them. So they'll do it together.
So they've not had an actual meeting yet?
Okay.
Not yet.
Well, I was just wondering because I've not heard anything from it, and I want to be there.
to be aware.
Oh, yeah, as soon as they work out those dates, that'll be public
Thank you.
knowledge
Thank
for
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further old business? And I'll be very disappointed if we don't have a question from the media.
I was fixing to say, Heather, this is your last night,
This is your
please.
last shot, Heather.
Ask a question.
Never ask questions.
I know,
I have some after the meeting.
but on a parting note, would you like to say anything?
Just thank you to the school system. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. I've been covering the Board of Education since 2002. So the meetings, meetings are meetings, but it's always fun to get into the schools and see what they're doing with the kids. And I've had a great time just highlighting some of the things our students are doing. So thank you for that.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you again, Heather, for everything.
And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
We have a first and
Do
second
not
to
leave
adjourn.
until Diane has told you can leave.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Now don't leave until Diane says.